Look, I can't help but think that now might be a good time for a little fire and ice. Please.
Oh, do not know. It's never a good time for fire and ice.
What happens when you mix fire and ice?
Warm water, baby.
It's bubbling, baby. Warm water. Warm water.
What's going on, everybody? Mike Tipton, Brandon the Iceman Cone. He is smooth as ice and twice as nice. Coming at you live over here at the El Paso Dive Bar Kitchen, a new place over here in El Paso, Brandon, on the west side of El Paso. I know you're happy about that.
It's about time.
The address, 5850 North Mesa. Come on out here, check it out. It is perfectly located on the west side of El Paso. They've got an amazing menu. They've also got Yingling, the Oktoberfest beer, on draft as well. Brandon is going to be enjoying some nice cold water, as will I, because I'm not always a derelict, just 97% of the time. See? Also, that's how Brandon's lost all his weight, did everything that he needed to do to get into better shape. I'm super proud of you. I will never stop bragging about the amount of weight that you've lost, Brandon, because it's been something that's absolutely phenomenal to follow, and just your journey of getting better health. I applaud you overtly for that.
I appreciate you saying that, and I know that, you always say great things. It means the world. And believe it or not, I actually taught my first college class this last Thursday, a nutrition class. It's like an alcoholic teaching an AA meeting. But Kaplowitz, Steve's wife, Karen's a professor at community college, and she asked me to teach a class for her, and I was like, of course, I would be happy to teach your students while you're out and tell them about my journey. And it was a very humbling experience telling them about my weight loss journey and showing them my YouTube channel and answering questions and telling them whatever they need. I'm here to help them. So it was phenomenal. I appreciate the opportunity. That was pretty fun.
The Iceman is melting.
It's still trying to melt to become skinnier like you.
I don't know. I think right now you might weigh less than I do. I've been drinking copious amounts of alcohol and a lot of barbecue over the last couple of weeks because of the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know, but I don't know if you do this or not, Brandon, but whenever I watch football, I tend to stress eat. And especially with the Cowboys, because nothing is super smooth with them. I mean, they're going to play the Bears, the lowly Chicago Bears coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And they should win that game rather handily because the Bears are just a joke of an anemic football team.
Sure.
But whenever I watch them, I'll just sit there and eat and eat and eat because it's oh, my God, this team is putting me through copious amounts of stress.
I know, man. It's like against the Lions last week. But I'll tell you what, that defense is, in my opinion, historically good. They really are, and it seems like they're getting better and better and better. And Dak, his first game back, not too shabby, did throw that touchdown. Obviously, you got to shake the rust off of 6 weeks. But, I mean, look, it sucks that Zeke's out for a couple weeks, but he should be back in a couple weeks. He's a warrior. Pollard will do absolutely fine tomorrow. I know the Bears had that big win at New England, but I still love the Cowboys tomorrow. And I have to say that going into their bye, Dallas can pull this off against Chicago, look convincing. They're arguably as good as anybody in the NFL, hands down. I mean, I'm going to say that right now. I don't think there's any one dominant team in the NFC. I mean, Philly's great, but so is Dallas right now. And ultimately, in the NFC, in the AFC, still, to me, no one dominant team. It's a coin flip right now. That defense, when you have a defense like that, that is a Super Bowl caliber defense. Yes, they drive us to drink. Yes, we hate them. Yes, we love them and hate them at the same time. But that defense is getting better and better and better, and it's getting scary good, man. Seriously.
A little bit later on in today's show here at the El Paso Dive Bar Kitchen, once again, 5850 North Mesa. We're going to be joined by a couple of guests. Brandon, let us know about our guests.
Well, we have a couple of great guests. First off, we have reigning 2-5A Player of the Year, Jaden Wilson from the Austin Panthers, and Austin with a big victory last night over Bowie. They took care of business easily. And I'll tell you what, Mr. Wilson, this kid last night, what a game. Unofficially 200 yards on the ground, 3 rushing touchdowns, and he threw a touchdown, and he had about 12 tackles. This kid, like I said, was the reigning 2-5A Player of the Year, an award that he shared with Tavares Jones, who, oh, by the way, is now playing at Missouri. Great running back from Burgess. And, I mean, unbelievable what this kid has been able to accomplish. He's had an amazing season. Could be the 1-4A MVP, leading in rushing yards, and of course just as good on the other side of the ball. Already has committed to play football next year at UNM, and I assume he could get some other offers. So we're going to have him at high noon, and then we are going to have a very special guest. We're going to have a young man who is an amateur boxer, and his name is Alexis Montes, and he partaked in a event last night, and I know you knew about this. It was a law enforcement boxing match that went on. A bunch of different firefighters, paramedics, cops, and so on, and Border Patrol partook in this particular amateur event, and he was one of those fighters, and he won unanimous decision. I actually trained with him at Wolf's Den, and he's a great kid. He's going to join us at about 12:20 for about 10 minutes to talk about last night's great events in the city of El Paso.
Of course, later on today, we're also going to have the Yiddish word of the day, the fastest growing segment, the hottest segment in the history of Fire and Ice. I am looking forward to that. Can I vent for a second, Brandon?
Go ahead. You always do anyways. I can't stop you. You're like an old Jewish woman, you know?
True.
And I have the word of the day already, speaking of which.
Okay. I can't wait for that. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But I was trying to go live, and I got to let other people know this right now. I had to put a post on Facebook, on the various Facebook pages we have, which is the Fire and Ice, the Tipping Point One, and the Just the Tip Network, along with my personal Facebook page. Apparently, the post that I put saying, hey, Mike Tipton, Brandon the Iceman Cohen, are going to be live over here at El Paso Dive Bar, somehow violated Facebook standards.
What did you do this time?
I wish I knew. I know we were joking about this before we came on.
What did you do?
This is the first,
You're always doing something.
The one time I haven't done something,
you get in trouble.
And then I got in trouble for it. So now it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing, well. Maybe I should just be nefarious all the time.
You're like an angel. I don't understand. I mean, you do great things, honestly, and you do great things for the community. Whoever reported this guy, shame on you. He is the tip man. He's a good man with a knife and a fork. We love him. And you're a real, jerk for doing that. We don't appreciate that.
But anyway, so if you can, the show on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch, thank you all for viewing in. If you can, share it out there as well. If you want to be a nefarious individual, much like myself, copy the link and share it on Facebook. And basically give the double birds to Facebook for me. For as now, Brandon, I cannot go live for 22 hours.
Well, it's only 22 hours, now 21.
Oh, well, hey, look at you. Mr. Brightside over here.
Glass half full, literally.
Mine is a little more than half full.
At least we're here, right?
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Great place, man.
We're here. We're going to start getting the podcast up. People have asked me, okay, why haven't you put up the podcast? I've been putting up the stream. Please, Mr. Tipton, put up the podcast. The Fire and Ice podcast will be coming back, and that way it's out there in all the different areas that you get your podcast, whether it's Apple, whether it's Google, Spotify, any of the other places like that. I don't know all of them, Brandon, but I know we're going to be out there on all the various ones, and the iHeartRadio app. Shout out to our friends over at iHeartRadio who might be hooking us up with a bunch of other stuff. Now, Brandon, as we wait for – actually, Jaden's right there.
Look at that.
You're talking about perfect
I love
timing.
Jaden the way he's always punctual, this young man. What a great young man. There he is. There's my buddy.
How you guys doing?
We're doing good, buddy. How are you doing today?
Good, doing great. Woke up a little sore, but about to eat some lunch and go on with my day.
Jaden, what a game last night in a huge victory at Bowie. You guys have played there 2 consecutive weeks. Of course, last week with the light situation at R.E. McKee, you ended up playing Riverside, and now last night dominate Bowie. What in a game for you. You were the offensive player of the night officially, about 200 yards on the ground, 3 rushing touchdowns, and you threw a touchdown, and, oh, by the way, had 12 tackles on the other side of the ball. Jaden, that's like surreal numbers, my friend. Talk about last night's victory.
Last night, it took a whole week of preparing. Our dudes were locked in. It was a tough loss against Riverside the week before, so we're just trying to make the season's far from over, so we're just trying to look forward to the next game and hopefully make a deep run in the playoffs after we take care of Irvin next week.
What goes through your mind as you're out here having like one of the most spectacular games a player can have, where you have, so many touchdowns, and then on defense you're just wrecking house? Like, what's going through your mind? Do you even know that you're having a game like that, or is it just, you're so damn good that it doesn't even matter anymore?
I mean, it's amazing, but I always want more. I always know that I could get more yards, more touchdowns, more tackles. So I'm always shooting for a further goal than just what I'm never content with my stats.
How gratifying is it to be able to just completely dominate Bowie, who's not a bad team, especially after that tough loss last week against Riverside, a game that you were in until the fourth quarter? It must be the most incredible feeling knowing that you have a real shot to make some noise, especially going into the season finale next week against Irvin.
Most definitely. We know what this team is capable of, and it's just been it's been a rough season, so to say, and we just need to find that perfect run at the perfect time, and that's all it really takes.
So let's look at Irvin, and then let's look a little bit beyond that, right? Like, you've already committed to UNM. I'm sure the offers are going to start coming in here. What was it about UNM that you said, this is a place that I need to go to where I can flourish?
You know, my dream has always to play at the next level, a Division I school, and hopefully even further than that if God allows me to. But UNM was the first school to give me an opportunity to do that, and it's just an amazing feeling. I've worked countless hours, putting in work in the weight room, on the field, just to be in the position I'm in, and for them to recognize my talent and give me an opportunity, it's the best feeling in the world. Someone is taking a chance on me, pretty much. Not a chance. I believe I'm gonna go in and make some noise, but they recognize me, and it feels so amazing.
Jaden, talk about what you've learned this year during your senior year that has set this year aside from any other year. I mean, I know you've been playing football since you were little, but talk about all the additional experience you've gained that's going to help you going into the postseason and even at the next level collegiately.
Definitely persevering. I mean, we've had tough losses, but after every loss, we come back in on Monday, and we're just ready to work again. We have to continue to do what we do, and just grind for the next game. There's no one puts their heads down, nothing like that. We're ready to compete all over again.
So, talking about going to the next level, obviously, going and playing football at that next level is absolutely fantastic. It's a phenomenal feat that you're doing, and congratulations to that. No matter where you go, I'd like to see you stay here in El Paso and wreck house for UTEP, maybe change the fortunes of that team. But educationally, because that's the most important thing, right? What are you trying to do? Like, what would you say is the future there? Or are you just singularly focused on, I'm going to the NFL, brother? Is that how you're doing it?
No. NFL is definitely a second option. My education comes first, of course. I'm looking to go into the medical field, hopefully be a pediatrician and start up my own practice.
Talk about next week's scenario. You guys take care of business against Irvin, and what exactly would transpire after that, as far as you know, at least.
I don't believe Riverside will lose to the Bowie. So if we take care of business against Irvin, then we will finish second and play the third team, the team that finished third in 4A Division II, which right now I believe is Big Springs.
Okay, so looking at the playoffs, looking at like what this team can do, I'm the type of person that I always say undefeated national championship. Are we looking at a team here that you feel, can go to that next step, represent El Paso deep in the playoffs? Is that like the goal? Like, we are winning ourselves a state championship. Then we're going to win a national championship. Then we're going to go and we're going to win an international championship. And who knows, maybe a galaxial championship.
Most definitely. I believe this team is filled with a bunch of studs. We haven't really flourished yet. And I'm hoping that we can flourish at the right time and just play amazing football and rally together and come out with a lot of dubs in the playoffs.
Jaden, you have completely dominated on both sides of the ball. And like I noted, last year you were the 2-5A MVP. You shared that honor with two other great players who are now playing Division I ball. Talk about your work ethic as an individual to where you've been able to master your craft, not only as a running back, but a top linebacker in the city as well.
It's constant work. That's your life, pretty much. You live in the weight room, you live on the field, and it's been nothing but a grind. I don't know how to explain it. It's when you're home, you're thinking about football. When you're at school, you're thinking about football, film study, everything's just football, and it pays off. It really does. When you just continue to grind and look forward, look to that further goal, amazing things will come your way.
So I want to talk about something that I saw a little bit earlier today, right? Like, as always, I'm scrolling through TikTok. I'm doing all the stuff, Brandon, because I try to hang on to my youth. So obviously I'm scrolling through TikTok. And I saw a post, and it was of a cheerleader, and she throws like a shirt, and it's got like, the sad music and everything. And that was her last high school football game. And you know how quick that moment goes. Is that something that you're thinking of right now as you're staring down that light of like, this is the last time I'm going to be playing football here at Austin High School, representing this high school, and I'm just going to go out and try to do as much as possible? Has that crossed your mind?
It definitely has. I mean, when you're a freshman and seniors are telling you high school comes and goes, you don't believe it, but it's no lie that it came up on me so fast, and it's been great playing at Austin, and I'm excited. I'm excited to play my final game there. Hopefully, have an amazing game just to stamp my legacy at that school.
I think it's extremely interesting what you guys have done again. I mean, Coach Pichardo, he's created that winning culture. Talk about how every year, I mean, it seems like, you guys are like shorthanded. You guys have certain disadvantages to other programs in the city. I mean, you really do. People don't want to say it, but it's true. How do you guys continuously weather the storm, Jaden, to be a contender for a district title and even make a postseason run every single year despite the circumstances?
We have an amazing coaching staff. They know how to utilize us all as individuals and put us out on the football field, and they put us in the right position to make plays, and they've done an amazing job, and they get us working every single day, in and out of the weight room, in and out of the practice field. No breaks at all. That's nothing comes easy, and these coaches emphasize that.
What's been the most rewarding part of you or to you for being over here? I think we're having a little internet issue, but okay, we're getting through it. We're powering through.
Yeah, we're good.
What's been the most that most important part to you, where you've been like, I'm so proud to have done this? Like, was there that moment? What is that moment?
Definitely receiving my scholarship. I mean, I've worked so hard for it, and just to be able to go to school, get an education for free, it's the most rewarding thing in the world. And
Brandon said a little bit earlier, sometimes you guys are shorthanded. You're a little disadvantaged whenever it comes to, being on the football field, at least what other people would perceive as being on the football field. But I will say this, you guys have one phenomenal speech and debate teacher.
We do, most definitely. We've all gone through his classroom, and every single one of us have positive feedback from it. We love Mr. Cohn.
Oh, I love you too, my friend. And I'll tell you what, I've seen you grow from a freshman to a senior, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I could not be more proud of you, your accomplishments, your acclimates, and what the future holds for you, Jaden. I know you're going to do well at the next level, and you're a very bright young man, and you're a great hard worker. And man, I'm telling you, Mr. Cohn's proud of you. I see you using all the things I taught you in my public speaking class.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Cohn. that class paid off.
He's going to be in the NFL. He's going to be at that next level. And every time he's like being interviewed by people, he's going to be like, "Oh, I remember when Mr. Cohn told me this."
Yep.
And Mr. Cohn, he's like 50-yard line tickets, sir, for you, just because you're my favorite.
I'll get up, Mr. Cohn.
All right,
buddy, Jaden.
All right, Jaden, thank you so much for joining us here on Fire and Ice as well. Best of luck in the next game, and of course, best of luck in the playoffs. We can't wait to see what it is that you do and continue doing everything to make El Paso proud.
Appreciate that, guys. Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
Thank you, Jaden.
All right, Brandon, that was fun. That was
great.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. What a great kid he is.
I always love this because, okay, so I don't know if I've ever told you this story or not, Brandon, but anytime that I would post stuff on Twitter, especially whenever I was up in Connecticut, right? Anytime I would post stuff up, I would get stuff from like high school football players from not only just Texas, but like Florida, Ohio, the big hubs, right? They'll send me videos, and I'm like, oh, no, that's a cool video, right? Like, you're doing good. I understand what you're trying to do. And then there would always be a message at the bottom of that, which would say, what can you do for me? And I remember thinking to myself, like, who is teaching you this stuff? Because that's not the way you approach any of this stuff whenever it comes to how you want to engage the media and like what the media can do for you and all that stuff, right? That's such an off-putting thing. So to see this kid out there dominating on the football field, like you said, the reigning 258 player of the year last year, this year more than likely going to get it again.
Yeah,
right?
Amazing.
you look at that, the kid's going to go to college, and you see a good head on his shoulders.
Sure.
You just think nothing but, and you want nothing but the best for him.
Absolutely. I mean, again, that's what makes my job so gratifying is that I see kids like this literally start off, as freshmen, go to seniors. I think I had him as a sophomore right before COVID. I had him in person, and now he's just a big feller. I mean, I'm like, my goodness, I saw him, recently. I was like, dude, you got huge, man. You're huge. But I mean, and just to see how well he's doing, how respectful he is. I mean, it's a funny story. Was it Tuesday? Was it Tuesday? Yeah. I was watching after the kids because we were doing the PSAT, and I was watching after all seniors. And then I happened to have him in my class again. And I was like, look, Jaden, you're doing great. I want you to come on the show. You able to make it? And he said, absolutely, Mr. Cohn. And, that's when I texted you. We got Jaden Wilson. He's coming on. So the stars aligned this week. It all worked out because I don't even see him that often anymore because I don't have him anymore, obviously. But saw him, said, hey, buddy, come on, let's go. Let's bring you on the show before the season's over. And couldn't be more proud of him.
So once again, we are over here at the El Paso Dive Bar Kitchen, 5850 North Mesa. A fantastic atmosphere. Brandon, I am loving everything out here. I've already got my Yingling because you know the way that I am. Our boy Serge, rest in peace. Whenever Yingling was announced that they were going to come out here to El Paso, I was like, oh my God. He and I were going to just, go ham on it. It might have been the day that, I had alcohol poisoning. Who knows? But I was just so excited to have Yingling. I'm glad that they have it over here at the El Paso Dive Bar Kitchen, 5850 North Mesa. They've had a phenomenal staff. I know Myra's here hooking us up with our drinks, your water, of course. And, of course, CJ in the back, one of the chefs, he's doing a phenomenal job as well. I can't wait to try out some of the food and everything that they've got as well. I've been getting questions, so I feel the need that I have to reiterate this. The reason why we are not live on Facebook right now is for some reason your boy got banned. 99% of the time, I take it as a sense of pride. I must have made somebody mad, Brandon. And instead, this time, I'm actually rather upset about it because it's right before the show happened. All I had to do was press a button, and all of a sudden, you can see on the screen all the little red exclamation points, and you know how much I hate that stuff. We were looking at your phone last week.
I remember that.
And you had all the notifications. I believe your voice messages were at 1,000 or something like that?
That was a lot. And your wife was like, oh, let's fix this and this and that. And I was all, but after she convinced me to do so, I updated all my apps, Destiny. Hope you're happy about that.
Yeah, there you go. So get happy about all that. So that she continues to just ignore Brandon.
I'm like, I'm over here. Hello. That's okay.
She looked the other way. That's you can't even time. That is genius comedy without wanting genius comedy.
It's like
I absolutely love it.
I finally did what I was supposed to do.
Last week you called me Meshuggah.
You are.
Because I said that our UTEP football miners were going to get themselves a dub, and they did just that, Brandon.
Yes, they did.
This team, Brandon, I don't know if you know this or not. Whenever you have wins like this, you call this a roll. They are rolling right now. Our UTEP miners.
They are. Hey, man, I mean, they almost got screwed out of that victory because of that stupid extra point do-over, which was a terrible call, but supposedly, according to the other officials, from what I hear, it wasn't a terrible call, but then CUSA said it was a bad call. So who knows what real call it was, but luckily they weathered the storm and they still got the victory. That victory was huge. And today's game is going to be extremely challenging, but it's a very winnable game against Middle, who traditionally is good in CUSA. Look, I mean, they got to win 2 of 4 games. And to me, 3 out of those 4 games are extremely winnable. I mean, UTSA winnable, FIU winnable. Heck, today's game is winnable. I predict at this point, maybe they're going bowling again at the New Mexico Bowl next month, or actually in December. Yeah, they're doing well. Hey, you can't take that away from them. Ground game's working, defensively playing well. Hardison makes his goofs, so which I hate because that's how you lose games. But I really like this team. I think everybody should be very proud of this team and what they've accomplished so far.
How different your tone changes in a week. Last week it was there's no way in hell it was your Meshuggah for thinking that this team is going to make it to the bowl season, doing all this and that. Brandon, I want to make sure that if UTEP goes bowling, we go bowling along with them.
I'm down. Let's go. We'll get a good grease and we'll go up there. We'll cover the game. And they got a good spread at the New Mexico Bowl. Trust me on this one. And then after
you were there last year representing the Just the Tip network.
I was, and I had
JTT network. I'm sorry,
JTT. That's better. That's better. Thank you, sir.
I always see how uncomfortable you get whenever I tell you Just the Tip.
I mean,
is it worse when I put my hand on you? Just the Tip.
Don't ever do that again, please. We're live.
You got goosebumps. It was weird.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, but yeah, so UTEP more than likely, like if they win 2 games, right? Because they got 2 out of 4. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they got to win because they have to win. Obviously, they have to go 6-6 to be bowl eligible. Because they go 6-6, they'll be in a bowl game, and that's the New Mexico Bowl. Let's call a spade a spade. They got to win 2 out of 4. They got to win 50% of their games left, which again, very winnable, very possible.
So I'm hoping that UTEP can get there. I just want the atmosphere of back-to-back bowl games. You talk about. Obviously, this team isn't something that like I go out there and wholeheartedly and like, oh my God, I bleed orange, even though I'm wear a lot of orange. But I love the fact that we are seeing what is for this team, right? This team in particular, UTEP football, a historic season. We've never seen them beat a big name school like Boise State. We just witnessed them do that. We've never seen them win on the East Coast. We've just witnessed them do that. They're on the precipice now, Brandon, of going to back-to-back bowl games, which once again is something we never see. If UTEP goes to a bowl game, and it's a big if, right? Like there's a lot of things that have to go right here. If they go to a bowl game, and if they win this bowl game, I will go on record right now as saying this would be the most historic season in UTEP football. Not in UTEP because of obviously what happened in 1966,
sure,
but in UTEP football history, this would be the most historic season in that football history.
I mean, it would be hard to argue just simply because not only did you beat a former powerhouse in Boise State, who it certainly is not as good as they've been in years past, but then you go on to do something you haven't done in any lifetime, unless you're like 80 years old or whatever, and you still remember that 1967 when they beat Florida State in the Sun Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, UTEP, first of all, they don't go bowling, and secondly, they don't win bowl games. So, I mean, if they happen to make another bowl game, which would be an accomplishment in itself, and ultimately beat a decent team, because let's face it, the other team they play usually in the New Mexico Bowl is a decent team from a decent conference, then hell yeah, it's probably the most historic season in program history, because this program is garbage for the most part. I mean, they football wise, it's garbage. All right, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, sorry, folks. You know me, I'm very bluntly honest, like this dude. But I mean, if a garbage program finally wins a bowl game after 50 years, then damn, it's a very historic season, right?
This is a thing that I always laugh at, because you're not going to get the blowback from that. I'm going to get the blowback from that. It's going to be like, oh, this guy over here, Tipton, once again, UTEP's garbage. He's going to get aggregated somewhere.
You
maybe
said that this time.
Right. It was Brandon who said it, but it was on, my thing, I guess. But no, I mean, I agree, right? Because my thing is I don't have delusions whenever it comes to UTEP football. Again, people get tired of me saying this. Historically, this is a team that wins on average 3 games a year over the last 114 years that they've been playing football. Bowl games are the outlier. 7-win seasons are the outlier. I think one year they won 10 games. In 1987,
that was in '88, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The year that they lost to Brett Favre in the Independence Bowl, right?
I was 4 years old.
In '88, I was 10.
So
88, about 10 years old.
So you look at that, right?
Too, ironically.
Well, maybe we can say that. Maybe 1988 and this year rivaling each other in history, right? Because a 10-win season doesn't happen very often unless you're like Alabama. I mean, look at how hard it is for Texas to get 10-win seasons, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I love what I'm seeing from UTEP. This is all I wanted for UTEP, right? Be competitive, finish the season at 500, make it to a bowl game, and then it's a coin toss whether you win or not, right?
Absolutely.
That is absolutely all we wanted. We're good. I think we're good. Thank you so much. And that's all you can ask for whenever it comes to UTEP athletics. I'm just hoping for it. I know it's throwing a shot in the dark, trying to find the needle in the haystack, back-to-back years of UTEP making bowl games. But I am here for it. You, myself, our guy Hawk Scott, we are going to go bowling with UTEP if UTEP goes bowling.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? I mean, again, you got to go. It's only 3.5 hours up the street, right? Basically, it's not a far drive.
What if they went to the Tucson, Arizona Bowl?
About 6 hours.
Or the Gaspar Aurelia Motors Bowl. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe they win Conference USA because no one's got a huge lead in CUSA.
Maybe we get to go to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
A
little expensive, right? But it'd be nice.
Yeah, but I mean, we've got, stuff.
Yeah, we've got stuff. Absolutely.
We'll get the private jet fueled up and just go on our way.
Let's face it, they make a bowl game. It's going to be in Albuquerque. I'm not going to lie. We all know this about UTEP.
I'm trying to be optimistic.
Yeah, I know.
Brandon.
I hear you. Look, I mean, just make a bowl game. Just win 2 of 4, and let's a month from now be talking about them being named to another bowl game, which is a great honor for them. It really is. And wherever it is, we'll figure out a way to get there. Chip, you make a lot of progress. That's what I love about you.
The one thing that I love about making progress is that you can progress your way on over, live your life, get better at it, progress up, right, Brandon? There's a horrible transition. I don't know what I was trying to do there. But I want to give a shout-out to our friends over at Three Missions Brewery, 10179 Socorro Road. Been down since day one, helping us out over here on Fire and Ice, as always. Brandon, we got to get out there again, hopefully here in the month of November. Get on out there, try out some of those adult beverages. I know that you don't do a lot of adult beverages. You're not a derelict like me. You're not a degenerate like I am. But you can go on out there. You can try some of the beers that they've got out at Three Missions Brewery, 10179 Socorro Road. They got the food truck out there as well. And, of course, the pomegranate beer. Check out the amazing staff they have. Becky and Brenda, all of them are doing phenomenal jobs. Go check them out. 10179 Socorro Road, our friends over at Three Missions Brewery. We're talking about UTEP and how historic this season could potentially be.
This is going to be huge. I mean,
there's history going on right now in the NFL as we speak, and I don't know if you know this. For the first time in his career, Tom Brady is 2 games under 500.
Why did I draft
45 years old,
Yeah.
and somehow, some way, still dreamy, still making history.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's not in a good way. And he's divorced now, so that's adding insult to injury. It's finally time for him to hang it up, I think. I mean, this is it. This needs to be the last dance for him, and he really shouldn't have come back. I mean, really, he should have retired after they won the Super Bowl in 2020. But, it's a particular situation. If you're that great, it's hard to just put it up and say, that's it, the war is over, as my grandpa used to say, finis la guerre. But, hey, here's the bottom line. He's clearly struggling. The organization is struggling. I don't think he's mentally in the game. And if you're not mentally in the game, then it's time to say, that's it. Good night, Irene.
Want to give a shout out to our guy, Jonathan Hood, tuned in right now, sent me a text and was like, progress up? Really? Progress up? Come on, this is Fire and Ice. We expect better of you. I apologize, Hoodie. I accepted my mistake. I will be better. I promise. But I think, Brandon, I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian here. I think now that the divorce is finalized, all that weight is off his shoulders. He's going to go full Tiger Woods and just start, dipping into the poon as much as he can. And now all the stress is away, and Tom Brady is going to be playing like the normal Tom Brady that we expect. I will say, though, the one thing that makes me have questions about Tampa Bay, how different is the game if Mike Evans doesn't drop that pass? A 75-yard touchdown wide open, right?
Significantly different, sure.
We're not seeing a decline in Tom Brady as a player. Mm-hmm. He still can uncork the ball and let it down the field and do anything that he wants to do with the
But they're not
football.
Scoring with all the weapons they have.
But what weapons do they have? Godwin
You've got a lot of weapons.
Hurt. What weapons?
Godwin's healthy.
Leonard Fournette is garbage.
I don't think he's garbage. I think Fournette's a decent running back. He's not having the greatest season.
Leonard Fournette would be the third string running back on UTEP.
Okay, Tip. Leonard Fournette has last year.
He's going to find me and kill me. Like, that's what's going to happen.
He's Leonard Fournette is actually not terrible. He's a good pass receiving running back, and I mean, obviously, he's had better years. I mean, his offensive line is depleted this year, but
look,
he's not a garbage running back.
I'm just going to say this right now. I will go to bat. I will die for Tom Brady. Okay, he is the greatest quarterback that has ever played the game of football. He's dreamy as hell. We've already established that. I'm getting bad looks over. That's what gets her attention. It's just me talking about Tom Brady. You called her for a good 5 minutes on this show and got ignored.
I got ignored the whole time.
And yet I say the word. I utter the word. I could whisper Tom Brady, and she would be like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" Right?
Yeah, right. I was talking to you about how you helped me with my phone. No, I wasn't. I mean, yes, those pickles look good, but I mean, I was trying to get a hold of you, saying, "Destiny, thanks for helping me with my phone." You're just like.
Fried pickles are gross. The people that like fried pickles are equally as gross.
Yeah?
Okay.
Oh, gosh. Well, save one for me.
I can't wait to try out the food here at the El Paso Dive Bar Kitchen.
Oh, yes, they're good.
Once again, 5850 North Mesa, the El Paso Dive Bar Kitchen. Come check them out. I can't wait to look at this menu. You and I are finna have a nosh. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're going to have a nosh. A good grease.
Okay, so I think that's a good enough segue, Brandon. And, of course, it is time for the Yiddish word of the day.
You guys ready for this one? This is one of my all-time favorite words. It's a universal word. It can be used in different pretenses. It can be used to describe just about anybody you know, okay? The word of the day is mashugana, okay? Mashugana is a classic, and I have a plan B for you just in case you didn't like them enough, but mashugana means literally someone who is crazy. Also, you can use the word mashugi for short, okay? And here's the other, sub word of the day. Are you ready? Schlep. Schlep is a great word. It's a funny word. It means to carry and to carry things around. So, oy vey, I have to schlep my luggage everywhere I go. Or I got to schlep all my books, or I have to schlep my laptop or my big heavy backpack. So, mashugana and schlep. There you go.
Would you ever be able to use them like you're mashugana for going on that schlep?
Sure. You could use both of those words in one sentence in that way.
I don't think I've ever seen a look of disappointment in your face whenever I brought up that question.
Well, I mean, that's a very interesting way to look at it. But yeah, you could say I'm mashugana to have schlepped that stuff all that way through the airport, as an example. That's a very good way of putting it. I like that.
Oh, look at me, becoming more and more Yiddish every day.
You're great. I love it.
Nothing says Yiddish like Michael Robert Tipton.
Michael Robert Tipton, my buddy.
Okay, of course, once again, Fire and Ice over here at the El Paso Dive Bar Kitchen, 5850 North Mesa. Come check out all the stuff they got. Shout out to CJ. Shout out to Myra as well, holding down the fort over here at the El Paso Dive Bar Kitchen. Now, Brandon, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we've seen in like the UFC and boxing and stuff, like what we've been getting with Jake Paul and all the stuff that we kind of see surrounding that, right? Whenever you look at a guy like Jake Paul going to fight against Anderson Silva, the legendary Anderson Silva, what comes to your mind here? Because to me, it's like Anderson Silva doesn't need to be a part of this.
He doesn't. Absolutely not. But I'll tell you what, it's interesting because it seems like the modern fad. It's like all of these former UFC fighters have to ultimately be part of this whole, I'm going to intertwine it with boxing. And that's like the thing that everybody's doing nowadays is you have the UFC, boxing, you have former boxers fighting each other, you have NFL players playing and now boxing. It's like all the above. And that's like the modern shtick that everybody's doing. And that's why I absolutely love what they're doing. And to me, it's good. It's good entertainment.
So you're not one of these like boxing purists that's like, no, I hate this. Like there's no reason why we should be doing any of this. It always has to be, just boxers doing boxing stuff. You can't have a Jake Paul in here making a mockery of the sport. Like you're okay with what's going on in boxing.
I'm totally okay with it. I'm totally okay because it's good entertainment. It keeps me busy. I mean, look, boxing, and we have a guest coming on, here in a minute. I'm sure he would probably have his 2 cents on here. But boxing has declined significantly in terms of great fights for a while now. I mean, once in a while, you obviously have Tyson Fury and Wilder, and you have some of the bigger fights that occur, but nowadays it's all UFC. So it's like, look, I love boxing. My buddy here loves boxing. By the way, we're joined by Alexis Montes, a wonderful friend of mine, of course, trains at Wolves Den Gym with me, and he also is an amateur boxer. Welcome, sir.
Hey, what's up, Brandon?
Thank you for joining us, by the way. But I mean, boxing has declined significantly. So Alexis, would you agree or disagree that it's kind of cool to have a guy like Jake Paul mix things up a little bit?
I actually disagree that boxing's going down the drain because with Jake Paul, here's the thing about him. He's going to bring inspiration for the young kids and stuff, right? And you'll know maybe 20 years down the line that we're going to have young fighters come in and they're going to be like, who is the boxer you look up to the most? It was probably going to be Jake Paul. So, no, he's good for the sports, and he's actually fighting. He's actually more active. But it's also the promoters who do not want the bigger fights happening. I love Ryan Garcia. I love Tank Davis. But this fight they're trying to make this fight happen. It just won't. In my opinion, it won't. But hopefully it will in January, like they said. But either way, it is good for the sport, in my opinion.
So do you feel like someone like Jake Paul will kind of force boxing? Because I think that's always been the gripe of people, at least for the last, 2.5 decades, right? Is that we were well past the prime of Mayweather and Pacquiao, and everybody wanted that, right? We were well past, like even Triple G being in his prime, being able to have a decent fight or a decent match against Canelo, right? we get these guys so late in these like premier matches. Do you think that someone like Jake Paul is going to come in here and be like, look, we need to force this to where these matches actually happen? Because how long did we talk about Pacquiao and Mayweather before it actually happened?
That is so true. Yeah. And also, he just showed that you don't really need promoters to make the fight happen. You can just do it yourself, almost like self-made boxer and stuff. And I think these guys who are actual boxers, who are actually good in the sports, they can promote themselves easy and stuff like that. They don't need these business guys and stuff, because at the end of the day, boxing is a business, and sometimes your own business can be better than just having someone run it for you and stuff. So yeah, it's more like a freelance thing where you do things by yourself.
So it seems to me real quick, and I don't want to like cut you off, Rand, or anything, but it seems to me real quick, like you've kind of got like a little, you know what? I get what Jake Paul is doing, right? Because a lot of people look at what he's doing and they're like, look, it's sacrilegious. He's making fun of the thing. There's no way you can look at the way that he handles himself in the ring, the way that he trains, that you can no longer tell or no longer say this guy's not a legit boxer. This guy's a legit boxer, and he's his own promoter, right? I feel like that would be the best way going forward for boxers to, you know, skip the people that are taking all the money out of their pockets, skip the promoters, and just say, look, I've got a big enough name, I could do this on my own.
That is so true. But besides the promoting part, you need a coach, okay? You need a coach. You can't just go on YouTube videos and just do this and stuff. But Jake Paul, he has a real coach. Yep. He does. I don't know what his name is, but I know for a fact he's being trained by someone. And that's what you need, just trainers. You don't need a guy coming in here and saying, hey, you're going to fight at this specific date. Here's his purse bid and all that. I mean, that's ridiculous. Just do things on your own. Just getting the fights done. That's it. Preparing, that's on you.
I've known you now for about a year. We trained together at Wolves Den. You hit like a freaking mule, but then again, you know I hit like a freaking mule too. Let me tell you about this kid. He's an amateur boxer. He's as nice as they make him. I call him my buddy, but then the kid sits there and we get into these tires together. We do body shots together where we have about this much space together where we literally can't move because we have our legs intertwined together, and then we just do body shots. And I tell this kid, hey, Lexus, be careful, you know, take it easy on me. I'm an old man. Oh, come on, don't give me that crap. And then he goes and hits me like a freaking mule. So then I hit him like a freaking mule back. And I'm like, all right, kid, but you know what? You're as tough as they make them. You're fast. I will never spar with you because I know you'll go too hard on me, and that's fine.
No, I would not go hard. I didn't say.
Oh, sorry to clear my throat.
Come on, dude. I don't want to take it easy. I'm just gonna land a lot of shots on you, though.
Hey, how was that straight right I gave you there, huh?
That was a good right hand.
I feel the sarcasm coming out of him right now as he says it.
It was surprising. Like, it just like, whoa, it pushed me away and stuff.
We'll continue to let Brandon self-fellatiate himself over here.
I want to talk about your career. You won last night. Talk about the tournament. It was a great thing for El Paso, a law enforcement boxing tournament, and you were part of it, and you're an amateur, and you won by a unanimous decision. Talk about what you're doing in your career and last night.
Well, in my career, I'm trying my best just to get what's the next best fight. You know, I'm just, as an amateur, it's different than a pro because it's more simple, in my opinion. You just go out and see what other events are there on El Paso and stuff. Because El Paso, to me, boxing's not dying as a whole, but just in El Paso specifically, it kind of is dying a bit. There used to be a lot of more gyms. There used to be a lot more boxers when I first started. They all started to dwindle down the more I improved and stuff. But this last one, it's different though. This last Clash of the Titans / Battle of the Badges, guess what? It's run differently because it's run by Luis Trevino, who's a true boxing coach and stuff. So he actually lets real USA boxers like me and others compete. In this last fight, it was the most amount of body shots I ever landed on that guy. It was the most. It was nothing but fast action, offense, and stuff. That's the thing about me having a lot of stamina. I have all the energy in the world, but what's good of having energy if you don't know how to use it properly? So yeah, I actually sped up more. I did actually start off faster than I usually do. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep improving and stuff because even if you win, there's still some things you got to work on. I got to still work on defense. I landed some good combos, but I do not want him to land a single punch after that. So yeah, just getting out of the way better, and yeah, just improve on my defense, and from there, it's the sky's the limit for me.
I love that confidence there. I want to get to a comment that we got here as well from Emily Mendez, who loves boxing, saying Jake Paul is okay. He may be a good boxer or fighter or whatever you want to call him, but he's originally an influencer. He's a mockery. He likes the attention. I think this is just a fad and that he's going through. Once he gets bored, he's going to stop and all the attention is going to go away from boxing. But she does agree that eventually he will be able to bring in a younger audience to get boxing back to where it was, right? Because for Brandon and I growing up, boxing was Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, even George Foreman, friend of the show, George Foreman, watching them, right? And it felt like there was a little bit of a shift. People started, you respected Mayweather for what he did, but people hated him for whatever reason. I loved him. I loved Mayweather. I think if you can make sure you don't get hit and make money while you're not getting hit, that's the name of the game, right? You also want to land a few punches on people, but he did it in a way that I think turned a lot of people off and made people move away from boxing. Of course, with the stuff that we see now with CTE, concussions, and wanting to protect your brain, we've seen the way that, Evander Holyfield is now, right?
Sure.
We've seen the way Muhammad Ali was affected by boxing.
Parkinson's.
Yikes.
I think that's one of the things that keeps people away. What can we do to kind of say, look, boxing is safer now. Boxing is something we can get into to appeal to a younger crowd.
Sure.
Well, here's the thing. It's like poison, but it's also the fountain of youths almost, because it really depends on the style. Yes, boxing is dangerous, but it's also beautiful and stuff. It's beautifully aggressive. It really depends on the boxer. Are you actually going to put more focus onto defense? Because guess what? You can see the punts coming. You can literally see the punches coming and stuff like that. And it's just like that quick reaction time. You only have less than a second to react to it. So it just really depends. How good are you in moving? That's pretty much how it just comes down to skill.
And your feet too as well. That means everything. And it's crazy because I see what he's saying, because here I am, a lunatic at 44 years old now, actually sparring with these kids who are in their early 20s, like this guy. And it's like sparring, whether we're doing body shots or actually in the ring. And I mean, I've taken some shots, but you've seen me. I've also landed some good shots. But I mean, I'm crazy, but I also enjoy it. But I see this guy go in the ring, and I see him get pounded sometimes. I'm like, Alexis, are you all right, dude? Oh, yeah, I'm fine. And I'm thinking, why does he want to do this? I mean, he's got a great future ahead of him. But like you said, it's like addicting. But it's also makes you mentally stronger, because God forbid if we ever do get in a fight, we got to whip some ass.
Yeah. You're going to get hit in this sport.
Don't try to hit me, man. I mean, look, it's not ballet. You're going to get hit. And it's not baseball. I mean, you are going to get hit, but it's like, hey, man, what's the old line from that Clint Eastwood movie? Do you remember that? The Gran Torino?
I remember them. I had no idea what line.
You ever come across somebody you shouldn't have fucked with?
Oh, yeah.
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
With the Clint Eastwood.
That's one of the greatest movies of all time. I want to give a shout out real quick to our friend Myra, hooking us up with, of course, me being a derelict and drinking a bunch of alcohol, and then Brandon with his water, as always. Come out here to El Paso Dive Bar, help take out or help, support local here in El Paso. Now, I wanted to ask you this whenever it comes to like boxing and, being in the ring in there with all that stuff, right? I did Gold Gloves, I want to say, from 4th grade all the way through 8th grade. And I was like, I'm just done getting hit, right? What is it that keeps motivating you to be like, look, I enjoy these hits. I enjoy, laying one into people. I was also lefty and I was really short. And my thing was at that point, like, I just didn't want to get beat up on by bigger kids that were my age, but bigger than me, right? What is it that keeps you saying, you know what, I want to do this. I want to come back. What's your motivation?
The motivation is that I got all the time in the world. And like you said, you have a bright future. Why not have a bright future in the sports? Why not put your focus and mindset here? And here's the thing. I don't enjoy getting hits. I don't. No one does, unless you're crazy and sadistic, that just loves feeling pain. No, I don't like getting hit at all. I feel like those hits really kind of like hinder me. But when I hit them back, if not better, harder, more and stuff, more production, it does motivate you and stuff like that. So it really, I can't really explain it that well. What I can tell you is that this is what I want to do as long as possible. I'm not going to go pro because I have a good graphic design program. I have a good graphic design professors in UTEP. So I'm just going as long as possible as I can in the sport before it's over, you know?
Mhm. And it's all about the love of the game, right? Like we always see it where it comes down to, I just love going in there. I love doing what I'm doing. It's fun. And it, brings some sort of self gratification, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Alexis, talk about the crowd last night and how it turned out overall. I mean, and what you plan to do next in your amateur career.
All right. Well, the crowd, they were crazy. They were crazy good for the Class of the Titans and stuff. What we did differently was a media weigh-in where it's almost like pro and stuff, but it's still amateur and stuff. Like unofficial weigh-ins and stuff. And we stared down our own opponent. To me, it was the most surreal, craziest experience to stare down a guy before your fight. Usually you just do it when you're just about to touch gloves and there's the referee. But we did right there the media weigh-ins, and oh man, we did this whole music thing, introduction and stuff, and it was just crazy. You guys just had to see the video. It's hard to explain it, but you go up to a stage, right? And the cameras are on you and stuff, and behind you it's the actual footage of you. And so you actually go there, you march right in the middle of the crowd. They're all crazy. It was amazing. But to be honest, my next upcoming fights, I don't know. I just have to check in with Coach Mike because without Rivas, you can't do anything.
Right. And my coach Mike Rivas is our coach at Wolfston, a former fighter himself, and damn good one. And he's one of the best coaches I've ever had.
So real quick, let's give a shout out to the coaches, like where you train at, all that. Let's give them a little bit of love.
All right. Well, Coach Mike Miguel Rivas, he's great. He used to be a great amateur boxer and stuff like that, but he had a wife, kids, and he just, stopped boxing from there, but he still became a coach. Coach B, I don't know what the B stands for actually. I forgot his whole last name, but he used to do MMA actually, and
wow.
he was crazy good and stuff. But his number one mixed martial arts, his number one martial art is boxing. So that's why he came in. He was in my corner, and he helped me tremendously. And so were my other guys, Diego, Jose, Albert, Chris, Carlos, if he ever shows up a couple of times. But no, all those guys really helped me. And even though most of them are heavier than me, they helped me tremendously because once I go up against a guy my weight, he's almost like a pushover. Like I experience heavier dudes, almost the same speed also. So yeah.
Have you ever been in the ring with somebody where you're like, I was not expecting that type of power or that type of speed?
Yeah, it was actually the state tournaments. After winning the Golden Gloves in El Paso, because you go regional, right? You win your city and stuff like that, and then you go to states. I went to the state tournaments, and my goodness, what they do is that you weigh in, right? You put in your name. They already know who you are. They put your name in a little strips of paper, and they put it like a little jar or hat, and they mix it up, and they see whoever gets who and stuff. And guess what? In the random case, I was paired up with the number one guy in Texas in my weight division, and my God, was he the closest thing to a professional.
Oh, wow.
He's 25 years old. He had over 60 to about 80 bouts.
Wow.
Amateur bouts. I'm only here coming in with 15 and stuff. And his speed was crazy, but not only that, I was pressuring him good. But what he really did to slow me down was grabbing me big time. He kept grabbing me big time. He was a dirty fighter, and I know Joe Rodriguez is another coach from El Paso, but he told me, hey, Jacob Ramos, he's a dirty fighter, man. He goes super low. Seriously, you have to see one of the pictures because he goes underneath my kneecap. That's how low he goes, bobbling and weaving and stuff. And then, but other than that, his speed was just ridiculous. I could barely see his shots up close. But I still went all 3 rounds with him. The third round was my best one. Everyone says that, in the third round, everyone slows down. That's when I speed up, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I speed up.
Awesome.
So that was the thing I never expected. But also, there was another one. My third fight, and this was the worst fight ever, but it was the most important one. I started off 0-3, but when I had my third loss, This guy just came in strong and fast, and it was over in 40 seconds because the referee did not like what he was seeing. But my knees never buckled. I just took those shots like nothing, like, oh my gosh, like I was shocked. But I was ready to fight more, and then the referee just called up, and that's when I got mad. And now, thank God, I have 10 wins now under my name.
A prosperous career in the making, Alexis. It's great to have you on. We talked about it for a while. We decided to make it happen. I will see you Monday, my friend, and can't wait to do some body shots with you again. I'll probably try and avoid your tire, but looking forward to it. Just kidding. You're the man. You taught me a lot. I think we've learned a lot from each other. And this kid's tougher than owl shit. That's all I have to say. But thanks for coming on. I appreciate you. That's a good one, right?
I don't know what that means, but
I don't think anybody knows. I don't think he knows what that
That's
means.
my uncle used to tell me. It's a good one. He's tough in other words.
Tougher than owl shit?
Yeah, it's a good one, right? You know, I think what he meant is owl pellets, but you know how they're all like really hard and all that because it's like. But anyways, he's tough, man. Trust me.
so I came out of an owl?
No,
Are
he
you
didn't
calling
come
my
out-
mom an owl?
No,
I'm just
no,
a
no,
poop
no.
coming out?
No.
I'm kidding, Brandon.
Hey, you know I love you, Alexis. You're a good kid, man.
Yeah.
You're tough.
We got to move away from that. Just stop.
You're as tough as
Just
they make
stop,
him.
Brandon. Stop. He's a very tough guy. Thank you. We
Oh, he
get
is.
it. We
He's a
did.
tough
Yeah.
guy.
Awesome. Alessi, thank you so much for joining us, my dude. Next time he gets in the ring, just knock him out for that. The whole owl shit thing.
No.
As hard as you can. Lay him on his back for me, please.
I heard some crazier stuff, and I still didn't do it. So, no, I'm good.
Okay, before I let you go, what's the craziest thing you heard from him?
Just like that, owl poop and all that.
He's heard my expressions, is what he's trying to say. That they boggle his mind. He's like, huh? What are you trying to say? You
That
know,
don't make sense. Tougher than owl. Anyway, I'm not gonna do
he's
this.
he's a tough kid. In other words, he's as tough as they make him. Trust me.
Then a mule's kick. How do you?
Oh,
know?
you.
I mean, that's I understand that one.
You
though.
hit like a mule. Like a mule. If a mule kicks you, you're gonna feel it for weeks, man. You know.
We can take you out to a farm. I know some farmers down in
no,
Socorro.
You don't want to get kicked. You don't want to get kicked by a mule. Trust me, man.
It'll be a full
In other
jackass
words,
moment.
you got a strong punch, is what I'm trying to say. Just ask me what my Brandonisms are, and I'll explain them to you. Don't worry.
Oh man.
Brandonisms. Okay, we'll get to that. Alexis, thank you so much,
Thank
my
you for
guy.
joining
No
us.
problem.
We appreciate you. Good luck in the future, buddy.
Thank you so much.
All right, Fire and Ice continues right here at the El Paso Dive Bar Kitchen, 5850 North Mesa. That was awesome. Brandon doing his best to ruin the show. I love like your Brandonisms. I love all that. So I've never in my life, Brandon, never have I heard tougher than owl shit.
It's a good one. It's an old one, but a good one. That's all I have to say.
I think you should let other people tell you if it's good.
Apparently you don't like it. Apparently Alexis didn't like it, but that's okay. Hey, at least we had him on and he was phenomenal.
He was very good. Best of luck to him in his career as he goes forward as well. Brendan, real quick, I just wanted to go over this with you. The World Series. We've been watching some of these games, at least I have. You know me, I was into it. I knew the Yankees were going to be done. They just don't have what it takes. They don't know situational baseball. Who do you got in the World Series between the Phillies and the Astros? The Phillies bouncing back yesterday after being down in the third inning, 5-0. Not score 6 unanswered runs, win in extras. A hell of a game. We're watching what looks like a team of destiny right now.
Yeah, Philadelphia in 6. I mean, honestly, going in, I thought, hey, Houston's pretty damn tough, and it's finally their year, and we'll finally see Dusty Baker get that coveted ring he's wanted for so long. But, yeah, I mean, you got a team like Philadelphia that no one expects you to be there. You get hot at the right time. But what Philly has over Houston is I think they have better pitching. And that pitching wins in October and November. And not only that, but Verlander had a 5-0 lead, and they gave it up. So that's not good foreshadowing for the Astros. Houston, you may have a problem. I see Philadelphia in 6.
So I'm going with the Phillies as well, just because I cannot stand the Astros.
No, I can't either, by the way.
Also, those that watch all the other stuff that I do, Bob, Jim, and Pat get drunk on the internet. My guy, Pat Costello from Philadelphia. I hate the Eagles, but I want to see my friends get happy whenever their teams win. So I just want to see the Phillies win the World Series this year. Plus, F the Astros. I cannot stand them. I think the entire city of Houston is a dumpster. I don't. I'm just angry.
I say offensive stuff. Are you kidding me? I love Houston, Space City. I'll disagree there. Okay. Anyways,
I don't mean it. I'm just angry
Yeah,
because
I
they beat my
know.
Yankees.
We're both
Brandon.
offensive in our own way, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, we're both tougher than owl shit. That's the way that it is,
Good
right?
expression. Uncle Bernie would be proud.
Hey, shout out Uncle Bernie.
My late great Uncle Bernie.
Okay, so now looking at the NFL, we spoke about it a little bit, right? Tom Brady, that's the surprise of the year so far. As far as the good teams go, I'm surprised at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think this is a team that, like, they finally look like they got over the Urban Meyer hump. Trevor Lawrence has taken steps forward. Like, obviously, he has his mistakes and little things that he does where it's not that great, but I like what I'm seeing out of this team. It's momentum forward.
Yeah, the Jacksonville's like they're a good squad. They're not only that, but coaching makes such a big difference. You bring in a guy like Doug Peterson, who never should have been let go from Philadelphia. He's great at working and establishing quarterbacks. ETN is establishing himself as a great running back, at least this year. We'll see what happens going forward. Defensively playing better, able to win bigger games. Definitely a contender, especially with Doug Peterson. He's a great coach, and Trevor Lawrence is going to be potentially a superstar. So I like what I'm seeing. I like teams like that. I like when they come out of the woodwork and finally can be a contender like them.
Cowboys versus Bears, who wins?
Definitely Dallas.
It's not even going to be close, right? Like,
well, I don't know. Again, the Bears defensively looked good last week, and Fields he has his moments, and they did put up a lot of points against New England, but New England's garbage. But I clearly think Dallas is the much far superior, better team in this game.
I go with the Dallas Cowboys as well. I believe, Brandon, it's time for you and I to go ahead and get ourselves a nosh. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Fire and Ice. I appreciate you, especially those of you that went to YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, effing Facebook. Thank you so much, you jerks. The least you can do is, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to do it. Do you know what it takes?
Shut up, would you?
Do you know what it takes for me to get to the point where I don't want to talk about it? Either way, Brandon, I thank you so much. I want to thank our guests for coming on to today's show as well. I'm going to check out some of the food they got here at the El Paso Dive Bar Kitchen, 5850 North Mesa. Once again, shout out to our friends over at Three Missions Brewery, 10179 Socorro Road, supporting all the silly stuff that we do over here as well. We've got other announcements that we're going to make as the Just a Tip Network expands and grows. And I can't wait to show you all what it is that we're going to be doing in the month of November as well. Brandon, I think it's time for us to get that food, and hopefully it's not tougher than owl shit.
Thanks, everybody.